Hello, citizens of Gotham. My name is Graham Elwood. You are watching and listening to the Political Vigilante live stream. It is Tuesday, December 15th. What is up, everybody? We're going to have Ron Placone on the show today. We're going to talk about this fabulous new stimulus bill. Oh my God, it looks so great. If you're a defense contractor, it looks great. If you're a fan of the Civil Rights Act or just helping regular people, maybe not so much. But you don't get with your purity test. So we're going to get into that. I also have so we're going to get into the bill. We're going to talk about a couple other things. We're going to see what's going on. Looks like our old pal Peter Nygaard might have got himself into some trouble again. Oh, those shifty little pedophiles, always getting caught, rapist fucks. Anyway, little aggressive out of the gate. But we're going to talk about many things. So boo 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 boo. So we are gonna hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, great way to support the show is to hit the super chat icon button. Wait a minute. And first of all, thank you everybody watching on YouTube, also on the Rockfin, and on Facebook Live. Like, share, and subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. Let me read this. A couple super chats have come in. Say hello. Kate, our moderator, is here. Sharif Snugs, what's up, dude? Good to see you. Shave your knuckles for justice, my friend. I hope you are making Gotham great again. Graham, do you want to hear the good news or the bad news? Oh, boy. Bad news, because of promo canceling indoor dining, I lost my job. Man, I'm so sorry about that. I'm so sorry. Breaks my heart, dude. Good is I get to spend more time with you. Well, look, man, we love having you in the chat. You always ask great questions. You support the show, and we really appreciate that. Anybody out there who's lost their job, especially in the food service industries like in California, New York, man, I'm so sorry. I mean, they passed the stimulus bill. So there's something. You're going to get some table scraps while big businesses don't have to they don't have to. There's nobody legislating them. They can do whatever they want. You can't sue a big company for firing you. They can just fire you now. Oh, God. Well, all of you out there, trying to get by with everything, I really, thank you for supporting the show. And, that's why I say invest in crypto, do research. If you don't know anything about it, watch bitcoin.com, Crypto 101, watch Crypto Casey, watch all these crypto channels that I've recommended in the past, Altcoin Daily. Most of them have some type of beginner's guide to crypto playlist. Watch those and get informed, because this is the ruling class. This is what they do. This is how they take care of us, everybody. This is how they take care of us. Isn't it fantastic? Oh boy. Sam Dean, shave your knuckles for justice. Good day. Remember when Klobuchar raised $17,000 for her Senate campaign from ex-boyfriend? She even announced it at a 2009 Washington Press Club Foundation dinner. Better days, folks. Better days. $17,000 from ex-boyfriends. Wow. I don't know what she had on them, but today's smoothie, ladies and gentlemen, unsweetened organic almond milk. Frozen greens, like I buy this big bag of like spinach and kale and chard or spirulina or something else like that. And then I freeze it and I just put the frozen leaves in there. Then a frozen tropical fruit blend, mango, pineapple, some peaches in there, strawberry, put a dash of blueberry in there. And then unsweetened peanut butter, the best around, nothing's ever gonna leave you down, song from Karate Kid. And then some like powdered greens in there. And then vegan protein powder. Stimulus for the airlines and military industrial complex, right? I heard from Jimmy Dore's video yesterday that Connor Lamb and the other rep is not voting for her without Medicare for all. Oh, wow. I hope that Prama Jayapal and Ro Khanna bring noise. Nice. Good. Boom. No sound? Everyone's saying they can hear me. Okay. No, Sharif Snugs is not a troll. Unless he just save it for cooking without dairy. Jet fuel can melt kale stalks. Smoothie chat, yes. Today's smoothie is brought to you by Big Kale. I have been bought and paid for by Big Kale. It's so good. Peanut butter is critical because it just gives that little salty. You're the weird fuzzy noise. Big baby Jesus. Let's see. I texted Ron. What happened? Email you. Everything Revolution. Shave your knuckles for justice. Either of you want to do a show about Caitlin Johnstone? She has so many punch-ups, excerpts from her writings that she posts. Well worth talking about. Yeah, I mean, I love Caitlin. She's awesome. I love her work. We met her, actually, Ron and I met her in person when we were in Australia. She's fantastic. I got nothing but mad respect for Caitlin Johnstone. Big Baby Zuba, shave your knuckles for justice. Should I mine Ethereum? I've been thinking about it. Be safe. Boy, I don't know that much about it. Again, I'm about 6 months into studying crypto. So mining and staking, that area, I don't know that much about. So I don't even know that I can comment on it. I don't know. I'm not that tech savvy. So I don't know. All right, let me resend this to comedy. All right, everybody. Let's answer some more super chats. Kinky 2, what's up? Shave your knuckles for justice. Nobody understands true progressives. Republicans think we're Democrat commies, and Democrats think we're Republican Trump lovers. I know. It's so maddening. It's so maddening. It is so maddening. Yeah. It's not. It's that. It's. Yeah. I mean, that you just summed it up. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. It's just like, this is the problem. That's crazy. There's a bit of a high-pitched noise. Okay, let's see if we can deal with that. Hold on. Yeah, I hear it too. I hear it too. I'm going to deal with this high-pitched noise. Hold on a second. Oh, did that fix it? Is it gone? It's gone on my end. That fixed it. Great. Yeah, sometimes if like a cable's touching another cable, not fixed, but not that bad. Huh. All right. $164 likes, 333 people watching. Hit the like button, everybody. Hit the like button. Let's answer a couple more super chats before we bring on Ronnie Placone. Andrew Dwyer, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. What's up, Andrew? I don't understand why people try and attack Jimmy on Twitter. They always get ratioed 80% of the time. I don't get it, man. The noise is constant, just very subtle. Right Brain Studio, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. What's up, dude? I wish the left united on this force the vote idea. I know. I know. I know. What if I just want to lightly press the like button? Yeah, just do it softly. It's driving me a little nutty. This noise. How about that? The U.S. government has a long history of useless investigations. The House of Representatives once investigated TV quiz shows to see if they were rigged. Might explain Trump's deal. Oh, fantastic. We did it. We fixed it. All right. Ron Placone, welcome to our program, Ron.
What's up, buddy? How's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. Good to see you.
So many things for you and I to discuss.
Yeah, it's been a week already, and it's only Tuesday. So, all right.
Yeah, it's been a full week.
Yeah, no kidding, man.
Everyone can hear me. All right. Hold on. Kate is texting me. Now I have no audio, but everybody can hear me now?
Yeah, you had no audio for a second, and then when you then when you were like, how about now, your audio's back. And the
okay.
The static thing went away.
Okay, good.
I get a little bit of feedback when you talk, but it could just be my headphones. I don't know. If no one in the chat's complaining about it, don't worry about it.
All right. Ryan, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Have you discovered the socialist YouTube channel Second Thought? This guy is on fire. YouTube got caught hiding his video on the CIA from searches. No, I've not heard of that channel.
Yeah, me neither.
Check it out. Tiberius Monk, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Yes, Tiberius, thank you so much.
With a capital J.
That's right. Sharif Snugs, what's up, dude? Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Welcome to the Political Vigilante. My name is Graham Elwood. I'm joined by my guest from Get Your News On with Ron Placone. We have a question here from Sharif Snugs. Graham, I'm seriously tired of AOC. I hope people can see how we don't have leaders. No one is coming to help us. We help us. AOC is a fraud. I see through her Maybelline and her $58 sweater. Ron, so, we've been talking on my show and on your shows, I'm sure you have as well. Jimmy Dore proposed this great strategy, in my opinion, to pressure the Democratic Party to get Medicare for all. There's 100 members around of the Progressive Caucus, and they do nothing. Most of them do nothing. There's a handful. You only need 15 to withhold the vote. And it's a great strategy. It's really, this is how you pressure people. AOC a week or so ago said, we got to make people uncomfortable. We have to pressure them. That's what you should do for your leaders. And I think you should absolutely, the people you vote for, the people you support, you should be more critical of them. There's this ridiculous idea in America that if you're critical of my politician, I'm going to take it personally. Why? And saying, hey, AOC, do what you said you were going to do and fight for us. That's not the same as the slams. That's what drives me nuts. Is oh, she's a dumb little girl, or whatever the slams that come from the Fox News crowd. Those are out of line and offensive. But just saying, hey, progressive politician who was this big outsider that upset the status quo, you said you were going to do these things. We want you to do them, and here's a way you have to do it. The minorities have to be loud. Minority groups, be they Progressive Caucus, be they whatever, if they're being subjugated, if their rights and they're not getting what they want, you have to be loud. And then we get slammed for that. It's mystifying. And first of all, we should preface this by Jimmy's gotten a crazy amount of support on this, which is fantastic.
Totally.
Even from people that have detracted him. And we shouldn't spend too much time on the people that are against him. But it is worth pointing out of why is this so problematic? Don't you? So you're okay with 30,000 people a year dying because they don't have health care? 15 million people have lost their
employers' healthcare because they've been laid off due to COVID-19? Like, why is this so hard? So I'm sorry. Go ahead. Wait.
Yeah, well, I mean, I agree with everything you said, and the fact that like people are making this like it's some sort of personal thing against AOC or any other progressives, like it's the opposite of that. First of all, because it's like, well, no, these are politicians who campaigned on getting everyone health care. So now we're demanding an action to help accomplish that goal. We're demanding an action on what they campaigned on. We should expect more from them. I expect more from AOC and Ilhan Omar and Ro Khanna and Mark Pocan even. I expect more from the entire Progressive Caucus than I do from Mitch McConnell or anyone like that. I expect the people who campaigned on healthcare to act on it. And, we're always told, oh, the progressives are so outnumbered. That's true. No one's arguing against that. That is just factually true. So whenever you do have leverage, you have to use it.
Yes.
Here's a time where you have it. If you're not going to use it when you do have it, well, then what's the point of any of this? So, right. I mean, yeah, it's absolutely absurd that people are making it, about personality or like, oh, well, I don't want to hear from this YouTube personality that I don't like, so I'm just going to like discount the idea. And this is how politics works. You have to force your representatives to do good things that benefit the people. That's how it's worked in this country for years and years and years. We didn't get the New Deal because FDR felt like being a nice guy.
Did FDR care about ruffling the feathers of the Republicans? That's the other thing. Like, there's always this whiny shit from these liberals of like, well, the Republicans might not, they won't go along with it. I don't care.
Yeah. Well, in FDR, to his credit, he had the foresight to see what needed to be done. Right. But he didn't do it because he felt like it, because he was like, this sounds nice. He did it because he looked outside and people were like, you better freaking do this. And who did he see when he looked outside? He saw labor, and he saw the Communist Party, and he saw socialists, and he saw unions, and they were mad as hell. That's how change happens in this country. When you have an entire system owned by Wall Street, they're going to serve Wall Street until you back them in a corner and demand that they don't. So that's just how it works. And it doesn't matter that you like some more than others. Like, that's completely irrelevant. Oh. And this whole cult of personality thing that it's like, oh, you have to handle certain politicians with baby gloves or whatever. That's absolutely ridiculous. Look, Ro Khanna said something like this recently on the Jimmy Dore show. This is from Ro Khanna's mouth. He said, look, when you're in Congress, you're in the 1% of the 1%. If you can't handle some calls to action, if you can't handle some demands to do what you were elected to do by the people who elected you to do it, well, guess what? You shouldn't have that frickin' job. You shouldn't have that job. So this isn't something personal against AOC, nor are we asking. And first of all, this isn't just about AOC. It's about the entire Progressive Caucus, not just her. She just happened to be one of the people that was responding to all the tweets. This is about, we're calling for action from a bunch of people, not just her. You watch those videos, they have a bunch of phone numbers from everyone, Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, AOC, Ro Khanna. There's a lot of numbers on there, not just hers. But this has nothing to do with personality. This has everything to do with demanding action, especially when it comes to action in regards to healthcare from the people who campaigned on giving everyone healthcare. That's what you campaigned on. That helped you get the gig in the first place. And now we're calling for some action.
Yeah, the thing of like, well, Jimmy is mean or angry. It's just like, hey, man, if and we'll get into this conversation a little bit, but if Trump pardons Assange, I don't like Trump. I think he's detestable. I think he's horrible. But if he wants to pardon Assange, great. I mean, I don't care. Even if he's like, well, he's just doing it to make the Democrats mad. I don't care. Julian Assange should not be in prison. I don't care. Yeah. Get him out. That's actually a good idea. His motivations might be crazy because he's a narcissist and whatever else. I don't care. If Trump were to like, before I leave office, I'm pardoning him. I'm pardoning Snowden. I'm pardoning Chelsea Manning. And guess what? I'm going to forgive student debt because 85% of it's federal, and the president can do that. And what does he do? I don't care. I don't care who does that. I don't have student debt. I don't have it, but I know it's people are struggling right now, and to not have to make a whatever $300 payment is huge when you're struggling. It's huge. That's a huge amount of money. So I don't agree with Jimmy. He's mean. He sent me a mean tweet or whatever. Like, what the fuck? Shut up. Like, what are you, 5? Like, get out of here. Like, what do you expect politicians to do? You just want AOC and the squad and everybody just to send out nice tweets? I don't care. I was a huge supporter of Bernie Sanders, so I've been immensely critical of him since he left, backed Joe Biden. I called him a quitter and a sellout. Mm-hmm. And I don't care if that's ruffled Bernie Sanders supporters. I called Tulsi a sellout, and I lost some followers because they couldn't handle it. These people aren't your family members. They're not friends of yours. Don't attach your personality to these people. These are politicians, and when they do something great, give them credit. All right, great. You know, Tulsi's trying to advocate to get Julian pardoned. Great, but I don't know. I don't understand why you think like this is. It's such a short-sighted mentality from people that otherwise seem to be pretty articulate in a lot of ways, and I just don't understand it.
And it's very, very petty. When you stan STAN for any politician, it is very, very petty, very, very short-sighted. And honestly, you're just being delusional. You know, I mean, none of them are perfect. They're all far from it. And, you know, most of them are probably not as good as you think, if we're being totally brutally honest. Right. So, you know, demand the policies and strategize on the best actions on how to get there. But it's really interesting to me. I mean, I was texting with Kevin Ronka about this earlier. It's so amazing to me that we are a country in such dire straits where they are getting away with such criminal things. And yet even people who are on the left, who are paying attention to this stuff more than, you know, a lot of people, I think you could say, are still engaging in such pettiness. And it's like, who the fuck cares? I mean, think about it 10 years from now. We're like, maybe like your kids or your, you know, young nephews or whatever are saying, hey, in 2020, when there was that push for healthcare, where were you? Were you on the right side? Do you want to look them in the eye and say, you know, in principle, I was on the right side, but there was this YouTuber who was just too angry, and I just couldn't get over that. It's like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Like what did they do that in the 60s? Were there people going like, Abby Hoffman's hair, I just can't get on board with it. I get the ideas. I know that Vietnam's bad, but I Abby Hoffman, I don't like the way he wore the American flag. So I just went ahead and voted Nixon. Like, were there people that fucking petty back then? If we had Twitter, there probably would have been, but
I mean, I think you're a chump to vote for the Democratic Party, but when Malcolm X said it, he was being just mean. I mean, he was raising his voice. It was just mean. And just like, I can't get on board with that. It's just not nice. I mean, I'm all for ending Jim Crow laws, but Rosa Parks just sat in the front of the bus in a really kind of aggressive, mean. It wasn't, she took somebody else's seat. Like, she was really like, I just can't get involved with that kind of mean, divisive behavior.
I mean, that's just where you lose me. That's where, you know, I mean, he said, I have a dream without being considerate of anyone who has insomnia. Well, what about people who don't get to sleep at night? No consideration for their feelings. And that's just where you lose me. That's just where you lose me.
I mean, AOC's response is like, well, you haven't thought about what happens after this step, which is like,
yes, we have. Yeah. Yes, we have. Like, I'm sorry. I mean, all the argument, and I get it if you want to discuss the strategy. And I have seen some, like, you know, actual criticisms of the strategy itself without, you know, resorting to just lame, weak attacks. And all of the reasons given just pale in comparisons to all the reasons to do it. Oh, well, it might not pass the Senate. Yeah, well, let's have everyone on record during a pandemic denying people healthcare. That has a ripple effect. And I understand, you know, somebody put out the argument that they're like, well, by the time there'd be like political consequences, i.e. the midterms, this will have been like a while ago because we're talking January. Okay, I understand that. That's a point. But what you're forgetting is what this reignites is all a bunch of action-based initiatives. And if you do this, if you bring a vote up and you force people to go on record denying people healthcare during a once-in-a-century pandemic, first of all, that will still have consequences in November. I get it. It's going to be out of the spotlight for a while. That is a factor. But people can recycle that and bring it back up. That will happen. We can all guarantee that that will happen, first of all. Second of all, you're igniting a spark by putting it front and center. The media will have to acknowledge it. Yeah. And then you're going to see a resurgence of activism on the state levels. You're going to see more people out in the streets protesting. And that's what needs to happen. So it's like it's almost like a lot of the people who are saying we shouldn't do this, it's almost like they're just looking for reasons to be contrarian. They're starting from the conclusion of let's not do this. When it's like, if you really want to look at the forest, there's so many reasons to do this.
So historically, there's so many times where minority groups within Congress have done this.
Yes.
I mean, like John Boehner.
Politics works.
This is how politics works. John Boehner got out of office because of the Tea Party. I mean, they were like, they ran him out of there. I mean, and so this is not just to mention the big historical moments like the civil rights movement and stuff like that, but like it happened. People have done this kind of stuff on the floor of the Congress to say no. Mike Gravel read the Pentagon Papers to put them on official record to show this is what's been going on. That was a very defiant activist act. That's what his constituents voted for him to do. And he said, all right, you want everything to be easy? It's like they just want brunch. And it's like, well, now's not the time. And, there's no, AOC put that tweet out, well, there's no step 2 or there's no step 2. What do you, like, it's such a crybaby thing. Like, oh, we can't. And it's like, when is the time? When there's a worse pandemic that has a 10% mortality rate rather than a 1 to 2% mortality rate? When the economy is shut down and there's 60% unemployment rather than the 30% that we have right now? When there's 60 million looming foreclosures, not 28 million? Like, when is it? When is the time? When is the time? Tell me. Right. When the hospitals are 200% overrun rather than at 90%? Like
when they all need medical tents, when every single hospital in the country has a freaking medical tent outside because they have to. When
it looks like The Walking Dead, is that when we're going to do it? Like, when's it going to happen? When? Like, I'm just like, what is your point? And don't be critical of my AOC and my squad. I'm sorry. I was excited for them. I've done numerous videos about how awesome it is. Now you got to do what you were voted to do. And if you're going to play ball with the Democratic establishment because you don't want to ruffle Mama Bear's feathers, then I'm sorry. Get out of the way.
Yeah, because we elected you to ruffle Mama Bear's feathers.
Yes.
That's the problem. Like, I get it. You're calling on them to put some of their colleagues in the hot seat. But that's what they were freaking elected to do. And we're doing our part because it's our part to basically be outside and to put pressure on them. They need to be able to say, the AOCs in Congress, they need to be able to say, look, Mama Bear, our voicemails are full. Our website crashed from comments. People are ratioing. We are getting every tweet we publish ratioed because people are demanding this action from us because we campaigned on Medicare for all. So you need to bring this to a vote. And if you don't, we can't vote for you for speaker.
Yeah.
That's us doing our part. And if it makes them uncomfortable to confront their colleagues like that, I'm sorry, that comes with the freaking gig. AOC herself said, you got to make people uncomfortable. That's what protesting's about. Well, guess what? Sometimes that involves her too. You got to make her uncomfortable because, I get it. She probably doesn't want to, put all of her colleagues in the hot seat. But that's what she was freaking elected for. So she's got to do it.
And you can't, I'm sorry.
That's the job.
Yeah, and I can't just listen to, it's the Republicans are bad. I'm sorry. No, you can't blame them for everything. You can't blame them for everything. You did a secret verbal vote for the CARES Act. Come on. Yeah. So, you're not, and all these as I said, 15 million people have lost their employer health insurance because they've been laid off due to this pandemic.
Yeah.
You got to help those people out.
And we've been completely abandoned. I mean, it's yeah. And I know you mentioned you want to talk about, what's in this new stimulus, air quotes, bill. But it's like, I mean, it's like they're not even trying to pretend anymore. Yeah. They're not even hiding it. The mask has been completely ripped off. And I don't see how, if you're paying attention, you look around and you have any ounce of excuses for anybody in office. Like it really is us versus them in so many ways. And we really have to put them in a corner if we want any type of change. I mean, the fact that we are fighting tooth and nail for the absolute bare minimum, which is going to maybe, unlikely, but maybe be a $1,200 fuck you payment.
Yeah.
And it's like, how can you make any excuses for any of this? I'm at the point where I'd be fine to abolish the presidency, abolish the Senate, abolish the House, and just had a people's legislature. But issues with that, but I doubt it could be shittier than what we have now.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I know.
So
I know. I'm ready to abolish all of them. Get rid of all of them. Get rid of Mitch McConnell, Lindsey Graham, AOC, all of them. Yeah. I don't give a shit.
Every single one. That's why it's like when they're just like when you're calling action to like call your Congress people, it's like, oh, you got to compromise. It's like, this is my fucking compromise. Yeah. This is my ideal. They're all fired. My compromise, calling them and asking them to do what we hired them to do. That's already my freaking compromise.
So you want to compromise? I don't think you realize Congress, Senate, Republicans, Democrats, CEOs, billionaire ruling class. I don't think you realize how close you are from the masses just rising up, as they have historically done every time they have been this mistreated by the handful of those in power. So you better really, this calling your voicemail and saying push for vote, this is our concession. This is us, playing nice. Because the alternatives, I mean, you can ask Marie Antoinette how her neck feels, because that's what's coming. And I don't think they realize it. This isn't just tough talk to try to sound crazy on a YouTube show. I'm not the one bringing a guillotine outside of Jeff Bezos' office or his home. I haven't done that. But protesters are doing that. And they're going to start bringing those outside of Congress and the Senate and Nancy Pelosi's house and Mitch McConnell's house. I mean, there's protests every day outside of Garcetti's home. The big lefty liberal. And there's videos of people who just got the crap kicked out of them by LAPD in front of Garcetti's house. Yeah. So if you think this is going
by his order, yeah,
crybaby candy ass that he is,
he's the worst.
He is the worst, and he's a Democrat. So this party is the worst. And you think crowded voicemails and YouTubers getting angry, you think that's bad? Okay. It's gonna right now. This is a day spa compared to 30 million people getting evicted and taking to the streets. Because when you're hungry and you don't have a home, let me tell you something. You don't care anymore. And the last person you ever want to be in a street fight with is someone with nothing to lose. You in Congress, you in your nice homes, you in your CEO gigs, you got a lot to lose. People with jobs and homes and families, they have stuff to lose. When you take that away, they don't have anything to lose. And they don't care if your home gets burned to the ground or your Congress, your Capitol building, your White House. They don't care. And they don't care if, the first ever fill-in-the-blank identity politic is in there. They don't care. So you might want to listen to these voicemails. You might want to do this because history is not going to be kind to you because you played more centrist, incremental bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it just goes to show. I mean, people who are making it out like these types of demands right now are too much. It's like what planet are you living on? Like where are you? Look around you. Look around you.
Well, that's just it. They're not. Or
Yeah.
when they drive through any city in America and see the tent cities, they don't see it. They just drive by it like it's a billboard or something, and they're just like, They don't see it. When they see these videos of food lines, people waiting in line for hours, the food banks nationwide have said, we have been at holiday levels, holiday
every
demand
day.
since March. Usually it's like, oh, Thanksgiving, Christmas, there's a big demand. Okay, since March. So, okay. All right. I mean, if this is too difficult for you, ask yourself, what's it going to look like when there's an angry mob outside of your home?
Yeah.
And they don't care if you got a D in front of your name.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So it's like, this is the concession. This right here is the concession. And, people, look, you don't stand for politicians, no matter who it is. You only stand for three things: love, a general strike, and any band that I like. That's it. Anything else?
I would supplant the band thing with surfing. Like that's what I would put in there. But yes,
surfing and any movie that Graham likes. So five things, folks. Wait, cats. All right, six. But there are only six things.
The Christopher Nolan Batman. Okay, seven. So the Christopher Nolan Batman and vegan smoothies, 8. Okay, 8. But that's it. Those are the only things.
Politicians still not on the list. Still not on the list. We got 8 things. And
sustainable rubber yoga mat. Okay, 9. But that's it. I'm putting a ceiling on it, Ron.
We gotta stop it somewhere. We really do.
Folks, please watch Get Your News On with Ron. Go to ronplacone.com and shave your knuckles for justice. Boom. See, that's how we do a segment, Ron. Now we'll edit that out and drop it later. Isn't that fun?
That's science, baby. That's what that is.
Science. That was science. That was absolutely science. Tony DeMeo, shave your knuckles for justice.
What's up, Tony?
What's up, brother? My dad is a conservative idiot, and even he sees that workers are the most essential person during this crisis. That's awesome. I hope you can iron it out with your dad. I made peace with my dad before he passed away, so it was all good.
Dude, I had this really weird moment with my dad, sort of moment. So my buddy, a buddy of mine wrote this script pertaining to a historical event in Pittsburgh. And he had me read it for him. And he had my dad read it too. Because he met my dad at my wedding and he wanted my dad to read it. And my dad read it and he emailed both of us the notes. And one of his notes on one of the characters was the exact same. I had given the exact same note on the exact same character. Now, in fairness, it was an observation that a lot of people would make. So it's not like it was a super specific thing, but it was kind of funny where I'm just like, oh man, I guess it is true what they say, where it's like you really do have the person who helped make you do it. Because I texted him and I was like, dude, I said literally that exact same thing. And my dad pointed out, well, it's true, it's right. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but it's kind of funny. We both said that exact same thing.
We both our dads were college professors, right?
Yeah.
Well, my dad's not anymore, but he's dead.
Right.
Way to bring that up.
This is true.
But yeah, we both had college professor fathers and then decided to be comedians.
Yeah.
And
I feel like it makes sense.
Makes total sense. Makes total sense. 323 people liking, folks. 614 watching. Please hit the like button and shave your knuckles for. Get the likes. Let's get the likes up to 400. Come on. Sats, shave your knuckles for justice. Matt Orphalia is editing genius. JD, we only need 15 votes. AOC. Hi, Jimmy. No, I saw that video. It's great.
Yeah, he did a great job. And he included one of my lines in it, so I was really humbly flattered that you don't see me, but you hear me.
Well, that's the thing too. Jimmy was one of the first people to ever have her on. He helped. I mean, he didn't He got her exposure, and you were there. I mean, and we all got behind her, you know, and all of us indie media people got behind her and we're so excited when she won. We viewed this as a victory for all of us. So it's like this, like, you're being too mean or whatever is like, sorry, man, you got to do this. I'm sorry. You know, I have no personal attacks or there's no, that's not the same thing. You're a politician. You need to do this.
And I've talked about that appearance for years because, you know, it's funny, you know, you try to have people running for office on and then sometimes you're, you know, it can be a little like, oh, okay, you got to get a decent webcam and you got to do this and you got to, and I've always told people, I'm like, look, this is the gospel truth as far as my experience is concerned. There was one person ever, and as long as like I've been involved with the Jimmy Dore show and any time I've been behind the scenes, there's one person who needed a grand total of 0 notes about her setup and was ready to go and was on point and had everything set up and was just ready to rapid fire interview the split moment she was on, and it was AOC. And, you know, I mean, it was like, after that interview, we were all kind of just like, this person's on to something. She's got something. And look what happened. She won.
So now, now she needs to keep doing that. Fighting for the people.
Now she needs to deliver. Now she needs to deliver, you know.
They need to deliver.
Mm-hmm. And the bar's a little bit higher than just having a good Skype connection and decent lighting. The bar's a little higher now.
It is a little higher, and just good tweets. Like you gotta get more some bills passed. You gotta get some legislation that you can say, I authored this, I helped get this passed, I did this, I brought coalition, I reached across the aisle and got this done. Like I did this. Not just like, oh, it's too hard. You know.
Have you ever heard a politician in a debate when they're like bringing up their accomplishments, mentioning like committee appointments or anything like that? Have you ever heard that? I've never heard that. I've not even Joe Biden, where he's like making up bullshit that he shouldn't even give himself credit for. He's never been like, there was a committee appointment where I put Corn Pop in charge of the cereal bar.
I was in charge of the leg hair committee, and that did so many wonderful things for swimming pools. Yeah, nobody's ever said that in debate. You want to here? I'm gonna whip out all my committee appointments. Like, there you go. That's all they talk about in debate is, I got this bill passed, I got that bill passed, I voted against that bad legislation.
It's never, I've had more useless titles than anyone on this stage. I have.
I've had the best.
If they do bring up that they were head of whatever, they say what they did while they were there.
Right.
Like, they'll be like, when I was head of X, I did this. They wouldn't be like, I was head of X, and then my title advanced to, you know, whatever bullshit.
No, it's true. They always say, when I was the head of this committee, we really realized that we needed to do this, this, and this, or whatever. So they're giving their experience and how they voted on that committee. It's amazing. Annabelle Corley, a comedian has to solve America's problems. Enough said. Shave your knuckles for justice. I know. We're in a sad state of affairs. Nays Garden. What's up, Nays? Hold all politicians accountable, and here's the hard part: support none of them. Steph on my show next week. Right on. Tune into Nays Garden, everybody. Sharif Snubs.
That's an awesome comment.
It is.
He's like, support no one. Steph next week. Peace out.
Sharif Snuggs, what's up? I just joined the Movement for a People's Party, New York City. I'm trying to get the party to push progressive leadership to get Medicare for all a floor vote. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's why the People's Party is so powerful. All these activists, all these people. It's funny, Crystal Ball said something, very interesting when she did that there's that clip and I retweeted it, of her showing what Jimmy said when he was on her show about pushing Medicare for all, and then kind of going through what AOC has said and holding her accountable. And one of the things Crystal Ball says, and she's dead right about this, she goes, the Bernie Sanders base is waiting to get mobilized about something. None of us got excited about Joe Biden. We're waiting. We were so fired up a year ago, even into February. We were like, we are ready to go. There are tens of millions of people ready to go. And this is something that would do it. And AOC, if you said, yes, we're withholding the vote for Medicare for all, you would get a landslide of people going, you got it, you got it, you got it.
Yeah.
And you really want to change the party from within? This is how you do it. And like, so
yeah,
we're all waiting.
That's the only way you do it. I mean, that's the only way you really change the electoral face of politics is you have to hold them accountable. Because that, especially, you know, hopefully, I mean, I'm hoping movement is successful. And if they are, I mean, then now you have kind of the the bridge built for all of these progressive members of Congress to be, we're out of here. Goodbye. You know, and then they can move over to Movement for a People's Party. So yeah, I mean, you gotta stick your neck out here. You
have to. And if you're not willing to stick your neck out, then quit. Get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
You know, just go give speeches. You can make, you know, AOC, you can make a great living the rest of your life giving 6-figure speeches about I was the youngest, this or that, whatever. Great. Just go give speeches, do a book deal. You'll get a show. You can get a TV show. You get your own view. Just go do that if you're not willing to fight. Like, for real. Like, if it's too tough, get out of there. Like, creative experiments. Shaver Knuckles for Justice. Nancy Pelosi passed the public option in 2010. She will pass Medicare for all if there's a vote, and Republicans will pass it because their base wants it. Interesting. Thank you for that. Nays Garden. Shaver Knuckles for Justice. Nays. I can't stand how many Democrats are crying over us asking for something as puny as a vote. It's like a child screaming, don't yell at me for a simple suggestion. So common today. Yeah, I know. They're all crybabies. It's unbelievable. Annabelle Corley. On a lighter note, Ron, loved your cooking video on Patreon as long as toast isn't involved. You're on.
Thank you. And please let me know. And anyone who tries that recipe, please let me know.
What was it?
I shared my fried rice recipe, which you've had before. You've had at our Christmas.
When did you make it?
Remember the Christmas Eve gatherings we did when the world was still a place?
Yeah.
The fried rice dish I made. Yeah, I shared the recipe for that. Cause I got this audition to do like a cooking segment, and I'm pretty sure I didn't get the job. But, you know, like I made this video for it, and I'm like, well, I guess I'll share this with my patrons. I always wanted to do a cooking video anyway. So I like dropped it for my patrons, and I was like, hey, if you're stumped on what to do this holiday season, try my fried rice recipe. I take influence from Thai, Cuban, and there's a little bit of a Italian influence creeping up in there too. So it's it's kind of all over the place.
Oh, I look forward to that recipe, Ron. I'm very excited. Nay, Shaver Knuckles for Justice. Crystal Ball showed a clip of AOC saying, we need to get money out of politics. Then why the F is she supporting Pelosi? Great point.
Does Pelosi take money or something? I'm not seeing the connection. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get what that means.
Could you elaborate on that? Where are you going now?
I don't know. What do you mean?
So
you're saying Democrat? I mean, they take money?
What do they? Huh. All right. I never knew that. She raises it. You know, I mean, she's good at that. But I mean, you need that. You need that.
You do to win, to beat the big bad Republicans. You need to raise the money. Tony DeMayo, Shaver Knuckles for Justice. Can we force a vote to get the corporate money out of politics, which would solve the problem? Oh, I'd love that. Nazar G, Shaver Knuckles for Justice. Anyone who instinctively says it will fail does not personally know anyone who is feeling pain. This would pass. Exactly. It's such a quitter, defeatist, and truly shows it's not affecting you. You got health care. You're fine. It's not showing, no, we need this, man. Millions of people need this right now, today, in the middle of a pandemic. I don't like the whole now's not the time. Yeah, you're right. Well, wait. This global pandemic is not. Anyway, I'm gonna repeat myself.
Well, and why isn't your outrage directed at the fact that you have a government so blatantly thumbing its nose at something 70% of the people want? Doesn't that completely go in the opposite direction of the representative government we're supposed to have? And these people, they're just like, well, yeah, that's just how it is. And if you don't acknowledge that, you're not the adult in the room. It's like, no, there's nothing adult about rolling over and taking this bullshit about being like, oh, well, I guess we just live in an oligarchy where they don't really give a fuck about the people who live there, and we just have to take that. No, we fucking don't. We never did. That's not how society works. When you see this bullshit front and center, you do something about it. You protest. You strike. You pressure your elected officials. You put them in a corner. That's what you do. And what not doing that, you an adult in the room.
The adult in the room thing is like, then the adults suck. They're bad parents. That's what's going on.
And so, you're not the adult in the room. You're a coward, and you're a coward who's probably going to lie later. You know, when you look at the way, you know, history is retold, there's a lot of people who say that they were on a certain side of the fence during the Abby Hoffman days and during the Vietnam days. And we know that a lot of them are freaking bullshitting. We know that a lot of them were just soft liberals that weren't doing anything, and they didn't have the guts to march with an Abby Hoffman or anything like that. We know that. But they like to tell their revisionist history. And we're going to see the same thing happen 20 years from now. I don't really care as long as the right thing happens. But, you know, and if these limousine liberals want to take undeserved credit for it, whatever. I just want to see the right thing happen. But you know what? I'm not going to just, oh, yeah, you just have to lay over and take it, and that makes you a grown-up. No, it makes you a coward, and it makes you weak.
Yeah, it does. You're a weak coward. Annabelle Carley, what's up, Annabelle? Hope things are good down under. If AOC and et cetera didn't work for the government, they would get sacked for doing a bad job. Absolutely. That's absolutely what would happen.
Imagine if it was like a regular job where it's just like, you know, we're really impressed by your resume and this whole thing about universal healthcare. You're really passionate about that? Yeah, totally really passionate about that. Would that be like one of your big goals if we give you this gig? Yeah, it would be. And then, you know, you do a review and it's just like, so how's that universal healthcare thing coming? Have you nothing well, you could do this thing, or you're not going to do it. You're not. Oh, all right. I guess.
Oh,
well, I would like it if you did it. You're still not going to. There's no.
You're fired.
Yeah.
You're fired. Your resume said you had experience in all these things. We needed you for all these projects for our company. You didn't get them done. You're fired. You're fired.
You know, one time I got I got a job. It was like one of my first jobs, and it was at a grocery store. And I was like, yeah, you know, I'm really efficient. Totally, you know, put the food on the shelves pretty well. And then one time I just didn't put any food on any of the shelves. And my boss was like, hey, and I was like, you know, I just didn't really see the step 2 here. So I sat this one out, and then I got a promotion. That's.
I don't really see the step 2 here. God. Egg64, what's up? You've heard of the song WAP, W-A-P. It's time for BAM, bare ass minimum. You got that right. I'll read a couple more super chats, then go into another hot, fresh segment. I've got some hot, fresh segments I want to lay down for the good citizens of Gotham. Wait a minute. Where are they? Okay, here we go. This jumps around a little bit. Diane Bullock, boom! You're making Gotham great again, Diane. As much as I love Nina Turner, I now have lost faith that she'll be any different than the Squad once she's on the inside. So that is a legitimate. That's a legitimate criticism. That's a legitimate thing. I want to have this conversation with my good friend Ron Placone. I'm here. It's Political Vigilante. My name is Graham Elwood. We have from the Get Your News On with Ron and a regular contributor to the Jimmy Dore Show, Ron Placone. So when I heard Nina Turner was running, I was like, awesome. When I heard she was running as a Democrat, I was like, why? I hope she wins. I'd love to see her in there, but
Right.
you can't reform that party from within. Why is she not running as a People's Party? She was at the convention that you and I were both at the end of August.
She can't because of the timing of it. I mean, that's why it's a weird case. I mean, and I'm with you. I didn't love the fact that she's going to run as a Democrat, but it did not, for me, it wasn't like, I mean, I still support her and hope she wins. And, you know, the quickest answer to like, well, why wasn't it movement? Well, because it's a special election. It's going to take place before movement is looking to have any type of ballot presence. It's going to be before 2022 because it's a special election. So that wasn't really an option available to her. You know, would I have preferred she just straight up run as an independent? In many ways, yeah, I would. But I mean, I kind of get why she might not, given the fact that time is not on her side, given the fact that that is a very deep blue district. You know, for me personally, it's just like, yeah, I don't love seeing anyone, you know, run inside the Democratic Party at this point, but I still like Nina Turner. I would still be supportive of her, however she decides to run in this particular, for instance. And I understand, you know, that it's not, you know, it's a bit kind of out of the box. It's a special election. It's coming up. Time is not on your side to build the momentum, especially if you're working outside of a structure as an independent. That might not translate into her district. So I understand that. If it would be like up in 2022 or 2024, then I would kind of be like, well, wait a second, why isn't she considering, you know, movement? But, you know, considering the timing of it, and I think that's why movement has been so supportive of it. And they've been saying, they're like, you know, because of the timing, she's got to run as a Democrat, but we're still very much in support of this. Because, hey, man, if she gets in and then she pivots and joins movement, that's going to be a moment. That's going to be big. So,
Well, okay, those are all valid reasons. I thought People's Party was more like set up as an actual party that you could run under. I can't hold out any hope that Nina Turner, if she gets in, is going to leave the Democratic Party and join the People's Party. Because
I could see her doing that. I mean, I
really,
I could see her doing that. Yeah. I mean, I think that she, and, you know, I mean, we'll never know unless she's in that position to do it or not do it. But I think that if anyone is kind of willing to just like walk away, I mean, part of it is kind of up to the movement itself to really make it a viable structure so that people kind of have that option. I mean, right now it's like you've seen so many people who would rather not them enter, but they still want to get into the electoral side of things, really feel like they have little other choice at the moment, you know? And for me, it's just, I'll still support the individual if I believe that they'd be if they'd be good in office. It's not a disqualifier for me, but I don't like the fact that that's where the system is. I don't like seeing Shahid Buttar running as a Democrat. I'll still support Shahid Buttar because I think he'd be a person in office, especially compared to Nancy Pelosi. I don't like seeing Angelica as running as a Democrat, but I'll still support Angelica Duenas because I think she'd make an excellent politician. But I think that hopefully come 2022, there is a viable option outside of the Democratic Party that I'm hoping is the People's Party. And I could see, as far as the progressives that have infiltrated, should Nina Turner win her special election, which I do hope she does, she's the person I could see pivoting. And I don't, there's no one else I could see doing that more so than her.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to take somebody like that. The People's Party needs it needs at least one big name defection. is what it's what it's going to need. Because if you put a bunch of no-name people up there, okay, great. It needs a big name defection. I don't have faith that it would be AOC because she seems like she's already acquiescing to the corporate Democrats. Maybe some other members of the squad might. Nina Turner always seemed like, because she spoke at that convention in August, I was like,
yeah.
So but then I don't know. She still has always been a Democrat, and I don't have faith that anyone that's aligning themselves with this part of the Democratic Party, the party that bails out banks, the party that votes for war, the party that won't give us Medicare for all, just like, I mean, I'd love to be wrong. I would love it. I would love it if she wins and then says, "Oh, I can't change this party, and I'm gonna join People's Party," and this is like part of their strategy for 2022, because she'd be running for re-election then, right?
Right.
Is like, I can't. The Democrats, which would probably get her more independent votes and stuff like that. I mean, I know her district's pretty blue, but any of the Republicans in her district, any of the Libertarians in her district, any of the independents in her district, who probably won't vote for her this time around just because she's got a D in front of her name. They might do it when she defects, if she would have defected. So, well, I hope I'm wrong.
I mean, if it gets her in the gate, and, and I'd imagine she does, and, again, I'm just speculating. I guess I don't know for sure. None of us do, but like, I would like to think she maybe has a strategy to potentially be the People's Party candidate in 2024. So, I mean, if it gets her in the gate and she
president, you mean running for president in 2024?
Running for president in 2024.
Yeah. Okay. So, if there's a long strategy to this, I'm all for it. But we just talked about, AOC not wanting to, hold her vote for Medicare for all. She's already acquiesced. So, like, I just worry.
No, I hear you. I share those concerns. I don't not share those concerns. I definitely do. And if it would be something like she wins and then she's like, well, I'm a Dem now. Sorry, guys. That'd be a bummer. But I don't think anyone should assume one way or another that that's definitely going to be the case. Like, I don't think it's something to write her off for.
All right. Fair enough. Let's hope she wins. I hope she wins, for starters.
I do too.
I hope she wins, and then let's see if she really leaves. Because if she honestly thinks she's going to reform the party from within, I'm going to join a drug cartel. If she gets elected, I'll join the day she gets sworn in. I'll join a drug cartel, and I'm going to get them to stop smelling drugs for vegan smoothies, and we'll see which one of us succeeds first.
No, I hear you, man. But I think she's the optimist in me. I think she's running to get her foot in the door. I don't think she's running to, quote, reform the Democratic Party. I think there's a bigger task at foot for her.
I hope so.
And I certainly hope so.
All right. Thank you, Ron Placone, for joining the Political Vigilante. Boom. Shave your knuckles for justice. Annabelle Corley, me and Pelosi locked in a room. Oh my God, I would not stop telling her what a giant tool she is.
But think of all the ice cream you'd get.
Oh, you'd have so much ice cream. It'd be so good. Oh. Let's see. Melissa H, what's up, Melissa? How you doing? Even if Medicare for All vote is a loss, can be gains in the defeat. Yeah, absolutely. It's the thing we talked about. At least you're not like, I'm on record as fighting for this. So I can tell my audience, my fam, my constituents, I tried to fight for Medicare for All. I was voted down, but it's on record. I voted for this. Like, that's the thing they don't seem to get. It's like, you got to fight for stuff, even if you're going to lose, just so it shows you fought for it. Like, the reason there's that photo of Bernie Sanders from 40 years ago getting dragged out from the cops is, and he didn't like to play that card, which was a mistake, but like, it's him showing, hey, he stood up for the right. It's like if Bernie said, well, I wanted to protest for civil rights, but I would have been hauled away by the cops, so it's not worth it. You know, like, no, he did it because it was the right thing to do. And that's what you do. I fought for the right things, even when I knew I was going to lose. I fight for the right things, even when I knew I was going to lose. It's like that attitude is the lesser of two evils bullshit. Well, if you vote for third party, that'll never win. I don't care. I'm not voting for the Democratic Party again. I wrote in Jesse Ventura this time. I voted for Jill Stein in 2016. I'm not voting for the Democratic Party unless there's a legitimate progressive, which they will not allow to happen. So I'm not going to vote for the Democratic Party. Not for president.
Yeah.
So it's you know, that it's just preposterous that they think that way. Loveless Syndicate, shave your knuckles for justice. Hi, Graham. What juice are you drinking? It looks super healthy. Thanks, Rami from Glasgow. Yes, it was a smoothie I had earlier. Organic, unsweetened almond milk, tropical fruit blend, which was mangoes, pineapple, peach, strawberry, some blueberries in there, all organic, all frozen. Some frozen like greens, like spinach and kale. Of course, I'm bought by Big Kale. Unsweetened organic peanut butter, vegan protein powder. Boom, it's great. It is so great, so great. A year in the life of Anxiety Joe, day one at a time. Thanks for supporting the show. Not sure if you guys touched on stimulus checks at all. Do you think these criminals are actually going to pass anything to help us? All right, there we go. Let's get that segment ready. We wanted to talk about that. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We have 757 people watching, 481 likes. Right on. Let's get the likes up to 500. And first of all, if you're watching the show, please make sure you hit the subscribe button. YouTube has been unsubscribing people. I got below 73,000. We're back up over it, but still so they're messing. So if you're new to the show, just make sure and if you have in the past, make sure right now, check to see if you're subscribed because they've unsubscribed people. If you're new to the show, hit subscribe, hit the like button for this video because all those analytics help, and then hit the bell notification button. And then there's a lot of great ways to support what we're doing here. One of them is those ways I just mentioned. There's the dollar icon button. We've got already 520 likes. Let's get it up to 600. So there's that. Then I have a Venmo at Graham-Elwood if you don't want to donate through, and I will answer your question, through, what is it called, YouTube. So you go to at Graham-Elwood is my Venmo, and I'll answer your question there. And then also some of you are watching on Rockfin, and I know Rockfin has added a tip feature now, which is really cool. So everybody watching on Rockfin, welcome. And I'm going to read one of these. Denny McCarthy, boom. Thank you for supporting the show on Rockfin, rockfin.com/Graham. It's a blockchain cryptocurrency platform. So for $10 a month, you get access to everybody's premium content on Rockfin. Ron is on Rockfin, Convo Couch, Kim Iverson, Nico House, Whitney Webb, Jimmy Dore, Lee Camp is going to be putting stuff there, Dave Anthony from The Dollop, Richard Medhurst, who we've had on the show, Jason Burmis, who we had on the show, and a lot of other cool stuff. So for $10 a month, you get all this premium content, which is fantastic. I put all my karaoke videos on Rockfin. All these live streams are archived on Rockfin. They're also archived on Patreon, which is another great way to support the show. Go to patreon.com/Graham Elwood. So thank you, John Stick, Devo, Denny, Miss Callie, Tom. Thank you, that's everybody watching on the Rockfin. I gotta give some Rockfin love, baby. Show me some Rockfin love. There's a couple super chats that I missed. Fred Hampton's Ghost, shave your knuckles for justice. Forget the Dems. We need to run local independent socialist campaigns, and Jimmy Dore should hold political rallies across the country. Well, that's a great idea, and that's the thing we're starting to see. I talk about that on the local level, like Nithya Raman won on the city council.
She got sworn in today, by the way, real quick.
Nice.
She got sworn in today, yeah.
Huge. That's a big deal, man.
It is. Yeah.
Because it's like, we talked about it, what Kashwana Sawan has done in Seattle. We need that on city councils all over the country. So that's why locals, and yeah, don't run as a Democrat, run as DSA, socialist, whatever, man. And that'll affect real change. I mean, look at the pressure put on Jackie Lacey, and then she got voted out of office. So Gascon, his first day as district attorney in LA, because there was protests outside of Jackie Lacey's office for 3 years.
Yep. Every week.
Every Wednesday for 3 years. Gone. That's why this like, oh, don't pressure Medicare for all. No. She wouldn't prosecute cops. She wouldn't charge them. Her husband punched a Black Lives Matter activist. And Black Lives Matter is like, we're done with you. They didn't care that she was a black woman. They're like, you're gone. Gascon, first day in office, got rid of cash bail, and he did one other thing, I forget. Like, and that's why it's so important to pressure these people. Jackie Lacey thought she could do whatever she wanted because she was in bed with the police unions. I'm untouchable. No, you got voted out. You're done. You're gone. And that's how you threaten these politicians.
And he has, Gascon, like he kind of has, and I'm forgetting all the details too, actually, but he does have like a pretty like sizable list of things. So it's like, which strategically, that's the kind of good way to go, because local politics, it's going to go slow. So he's not going to get everything in round one, but he can get something. And then you keep pushing and you keep pushing and you keep pushing. So yeah, I mean, there has been, the tide has turned in a better direction, and hopefully that momentum continues.
Yeah, absolutely. Tiberius Monk, shave your knuckles for justice. I stand for Medicare for all, Krispy Kreme donuts, and workers.
All right, so now we're up to 10 things.
10 things.
I feel like general strike and workers, that could be lumped together as one. I think those kind of go hand in hand. So maybe we only have 9 things.
Yes. Kate, shave your knuckles for justice. Why is it all on AOC's shoulders? There's other reps hiding. What's up, Ro Khanna? No, you're right. We keep talking about AOC, but it's all of the Progressive Caucus, the 100 members. We only need 15 people, I think, to withhold the vote. So she has the biggest following. She is the most popular one. She has like 5 million Twitter followers. But yeah, absolutely. Ro Khanna should be pressured. And Jimmy's listed all these phone numbers. Jayapal, Presley, all of them. Call them up. Mark Pocan, call them all up.
Well, and he's taken some heat too, because he was the first person to kind of make what I felt were pretty weak excuses for why they shouldn't do this.
Right.
So
let me see what else. There's so many. Ann Willis, shave your knuckles for justice. She's scared, but not sure how to do this sort of thing gently since time is a factor. Might as well nip it in the bud. Yep. BA, shave your knuckles for justice. Hey, Graham, the USA does pandemic simulations all the time. Why weren't they ready? By the way, COVID was depicted in The Travelers Season 2 in 2017. Yeah, that's the thing. Whitney Webb, we had her on the show. She's like, maybe they were ready. Maybe they knew this was going to happen. It's interesting. Manuel Araujo, Graham, you're wrong. Nancy Pelosi feeds them. She feeds them. Yeah, I know.
yeah, how repulsive do you have to be for me to go, wow, Wolf Blitzer actually has a point here?
I know.
How bad do you have to frickin' be? Nancy Pelosi, that's how bad.
That's how bad. That's how bad you. Kate, has AOC responded to Jimmy Dore yet? It's weird. She's only responding to Justin Jackson. Interesting question. I don't know the answer to that. Mary Reynolds, was the historical event in Pittsburgh referenced by Ron Mizorowski's home run or the Immaculate Reception?
I don't want to give away the details because it's my buddy's script, but no, it is neither of those two things.
All right.
It has nothing to do with sports.
Then what could have happened? Intermediately fossils. Right? Shiver knuckles for justice. Nay. Stop me if you heard this one. What's the opposite of Congress? Progress. Nice.
Boom.
Sam Dane, shave your knuckles for justice. Can Granny Petrol please sing Eye of the Tiger, mate? Ooh, we might get that happen.
There you go.
Chris Kelly, shave your knuckles for justice. How about we ask candidates to sign a direct vote agreement so they vote how their constituents do via poll or app? Ooh, I like that. Tiberius Monk, shave your knuckles for justice. If there ever was a time for the ending to Fight Club to happen, now is the time. Dismantle these financial oppressors. It's done with both parties. That's why cryptocurrency, man, decentralized money gets us out of the centralized bank. That's their power.
Graham knows this because Tyler knows this.
That's right. Annabelle Corley, shave your knuckles for justice. So if you did get Medicare for All, who would actually implement it properly? That's my concern. That's a valid question. We just got to get it, though. Megan Morales, shave your knuckles for justice. What AOC and representatives fail to realize is that Medicare for All requires both an inside and outside strategy. Seeing who doesn't vote for Medicare for All allows us outsiders in the movement to target them in primaries and beyond. Great point, Megan.
Yes.
That is a fantastic point.
That is a fantastic point. And, adding on that point, you never know who might kind of surprise you because they don't want it hanging over their head that they voted against healthcare during a pandemic.
Yeah.
They've seen those polls. They realize that 70% of Americans across political boundaries support Medicare for All. There's a lot of conservative people that support Medicare for All. There's people on the left, there's people in the center, there's everything in between. So, you might get some surprise votes where they're like, we're not going to vote against healthcare during a pandemic. And then, if somehow it gets to Joe Biden's desk, he promised he'd veto it. But with the whole world watching during a pandemic, and if there's a movement big enough, he might not have a choice. He might have to sign that puppy.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot of people surrounding the White House if he doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kate, shave your knuckles for justice. The Canadian Medicare for All bill is a whopping 23 pages. The 2009 Pelosi bill was over 1,500. How do we control what bill we get? Again, holding your representatives accountable so that they don't put a bunch of bullshit in the bill. That's the key. And that's why this pressuring and making people uncomfortable, as AOC said, is what you have to do. Jackie Lacey got made really uncomfortable, and then she got voted out. So that's what needs to happen. Vote them out if they won't do what they're supposed to do. And paying attention is half the battle. That's why they put all this crap in these bills. They hope people aren't paying attention. Christopher Walker, shave your knuckles for justice. GOP are really pushing a recall Governor Newsom in my area. I would love to see the governor go too. Do you think there's any chance that he gets Gray Davis? Yeah, they recalled Gray Davis. That's how Arnold Schwarzenegger became governor. I don't know, man. I mean, Newsom was doing fine, and then when he did that crap where he went to lunch with his family, when he said you couldn't do that, he just lost. He's a jackass. He's a neoliberal corporate jackass.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I dislike him for reasons different than the GOP, but,
right.
But yeah, I don't see it happening, though. I don't see him getting recalled.
I don't either. J Blue 705, shave your knuckles for justice. Boom. Shank Dunning Unger, will you do another Zoom show with Ron soon? Well, Ron, what do you think of that?
Yeah, let's get one together. We gotta, because we're not going to be able to be back on the road anytime real soon. So,
Johnny Known. Some good out of New York City. There's a new driver cooperative being developed to compete with Uber. Ooh, I love that.
Yes.
It's a driver-owned ride-sharing platform called the Driver Cooperative, TDC. Look it up. Maybe California can do the same. Absolutely. Yeah, write that down. Let's get that shit going.
I want to cover that because I've been talking a lot about Prop 22, which was the Lyft and Uber bill for anyone who doesn't recall. And that wasn't just for them that was for them to see what they could get away with.
Yes.
That was the model for them because they're like, if we can exploit it here in California and have a campaign successful enough to get enough people to vote against their own interest in California, we can do it all over the country. And it's a disaster that it passed. California failed. We let it through. It was a big, I voted against it. Graham voted against it. It's not like we weren't fooled by it, but not enough Californians, it did pass anyway. And I was really hoping that it wasn't going to, and I was really hoping we were going to call Uber and Lyft's bluffs and say, you know what, you want to get out of town, don't let the door hit you in the ass on your way out. Get the fuck out, because you know what we're going to do? We're going to come up with our own apps that are hopefully better. So I guess New York City beat us to it.
Let's do it. Let's get going.
Let's do it. California should just copy what they did and put it in there and send Lyft and Uber packing anyway.
Yeah, pack your shit. Go the fuck back to Elon Musk's fucking space camp or whatever the fuck.
Go to Mars with them.
Yeah, go to Mars. Nice garden, shaving knuckles for justice. Kate said you love the video. Well, it shows AOC promising all of this. Well, this is why it's on AOC and no one else. She promised to press the establishment. Yeah, that's a valid point. Yes, we should press everybody, Ro Khanna, and everybody involved in this, because it's going to take more than AOC to hold this vote for Pelosi. But AOC big ran on Medicare for all, was pushing it as she was campaigning for Bernie Sanders. So it is a lot on her shoulders, man. She did that. That is a valid point.
Yeah, and you know what? But the ask is so minimal. Like the ask is not. We're not asking AOC or anyone else to do to completely thumb their nose and do a grandstanding 8-hour whatever. All we're asking for, all that's being asked, is that you go to Pelosi with the people behind you, what you got, and you say, hey, we need to bring Medicare for all for a vote. So if we vote for you, we need to have that in return, because these people, they're mad as hell. They're not going to take it anymore. And we're denying people health care during a pandemic. And this is what we ran on. So you want our vote, you got to promise us a Medicare for all vote. That's the only ask. It is so little. It is so little. And these people pampering these politicians, it's so sad to see. It's just gross.
Annabelle Corley, shaving knuckles for us. Just who would implement Medicare for all? I'm interested to know. So
I would.
Ron would.
I would. I am great with the books. And,
so all Medicare, to clarify what it is, and it's a great question. Annabelle lives in Australia, and many people in America don't know how this would work. As I understand it, the current, you just take the current Medicare platform, which is this, as I understand it. You currently have Medicare. You're 65 or older. You can go to any doctor you want, and let's say you get a procedure done, and let's say the procedure is $2,500, and that's the bill that the doctor sends you. Again, you go to whatever doctor you want. You don't go to government-run healthcare. That is a lie. That is wording used by the healthcare lobby to dissuade you that it's like going to the DMV, but for a doctor. No, that's not true. So what happens then, you go to whatever doctor you want. They send you a bill, the bill for $2,500. The government then comes in and goes, they negotiate on your behalf and say, actually, no, it's going to be $800. And then the government pays it. So all you're doing is taking the Medicare program that we already have and extending it to everybody. So yes, you're going to need more employees. You're going to need more people working for Medicare, and you're going to need everybody to register for it. That's going to be a big undertaking, but you already have the structure in place. And now every hospital, every doctor, every clinic, everything you go get a procedure, and the bill will get sent to the government, basically. Yeah. That's how simple it is. That's why the people, the Medicare company, the healthcare companies, the big pharmaceutical companies are so against it, because they just can't charge as much. Go ahead, Ron.
Well, I was just going to add on to that. And yeah, that's totally right on. And then additionally, bringing it into what's going on here in the United States, another infrastructure we already have is all the infrastructure related to the ACA. And that is a clusterfuck. So what we would do, instead of having that big clusterfuck we have now, where you have these people with the ACA having to deal with 1.5 million insurance companies, you would just have that infrastructure and they'd be dealing directly with doctors and hospitals. So, yeah, I mean, putting the infrastructure into play would be very simple, because this system is way more simple than what we have now. Oh, and guess what? It saves money too. So, yeah, that's essentially how it would go down.
Yeah. Great question, Annabelle. Andrew Cooper, you're making Gotham great again. Great point, Ron. It's insane how some people don't realize that the only possible way to push the establishment left by fighting inside and outside. Yep, that's absolutely true.
Thanks.
Absolutely true. God, we have 813 people watching. This is awesome. Everybody, please hit the like button. We have 615 likes. Let's get those up to 700. We have a bunch of people also watching on Rockfin. Stick Whistle, thank you so much for supporting the show on Rockfin. Boom. They've implemented the tip feature on Rockfin, which is cool. Hero 40, boom. Shave your knuckles for justice. Graham, vegan guns fully loaded. Hey, Big Ron. Love you both. I say eat the rich and snack on neo-progressives. That's funny. AOC squad is more afraid of drawing the ire of Pelosi for not pledging their vote for her speaker than the fallout of millions of Americans dying from lack of. Yeah, I know. Which is sad. That is completely sad. Annabelle Corley, what's up? In Australia, it's Medicare for All is part of the social services portfolio. Is that how it would work in America? Basically, yeah. Like we were saying, Medicare for All. That's why it's called Medicare for All, because currently it's just for people like 65 and over. So it just cover everybody.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of Medicare right now. Is part of the social services contract with Americans. Once you reach a certain age, you get that taken care of. And we just want to give that for everybody. It's so hard. Mock Racing, shave your knuckles for justice. Did you watch the Grim Sirota versus Jimmy stream? No, I did not.
I did.
How was it?
I thought they were really good conversations. I thought, and there were some points raised by both Grim and Sirota that I didn't fully agree with, but there were some other calls to action that Sirota had that I thought were really good. And, again, that was some of the stuff I was referring to earlier where I'm like, all the reasons people have given not to do this thing,
I know,
just pale in comparison to the reason that you should. And even Sirota said that. He's like, no, this is a good thing. But then he went on a list of like, and it's like, it's a good thing. Well, how about we try all the above? How about we try everything on David Sirota's list and we also pressure this vote? Why don't we do all of it? This is healthcare. Healthcare's at stake. Healthcare. This is healthcare. Like
healthcare. People are dying. People are dying because they don't have healthcare. They're dying. They were dying before COVID. Like it's going to be worse with COVID.
Mm-hmm.
The Natural Progressive Roar Media. Check out Natural Progressive. They got a cool thing over there, Roar Media. Shave your knuckles for justice. Thank you, Chris. I hope you're doing well. All right, I keep saying I'm going to do this segment, and then so here we go. Ron, I'm going to do the top of the segment and then bring you in for some beautiful color commentary.
Roger
that. Hello. Whoa. Let's get that mic closer. Come on. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Political Vigilante. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are making Gotham great again. Look at that graphic rise up. Rise up like a delicious vegan smoothie perched on top of a vegan gun. All the new stimulus bills here. It's going to help out everybody. Everybody in defense contractor companies and big businesses. Unbelievable. So this was in Jacobin. I got this off the Twitter feed. The stimulus bill currently under consideration in Congress does not include direct payments to the millions of workers struggling to survive. So if you're worried about how you're going to pay your bills, let alone presents for friends and family during the holidays, you're worried about getting evicted January 1st, rest easy. There's no direct payments for you. Just more of a cluster of unemployment benefit opening, like we could just send you a check, just like we did 1,200, but we're not going to. We're not going to, because both parties don't care about you. Nancy Pelosi does not care about you. Mitch McConnell does not care about you. These people don't care about you. That's an outrage and a further slap in the face. The legal legislation subsidizes defense contractors, because nobody is hurting more right now than defense contractors. I mean, we've seen video after video of all these defense contractors lining up for food banks, right? Right? Isn't Boeing really hurting right now? Isn't Northrop Grumman and Raytheon, and aren't they really hurting right now? I mean, we better bail them out. I mean, sure, there's 15 million Americans that just lost their employer's health care because they got laid off due to the pandemic, but whatever. Yeah, there's another 19 million people who are going to go get evicted January 1st. I mean, yeah, whatever. That's not the point. The point is the defense contractors need more money, because how are we going to keep bombing countries if they don't get protections in the CARES Act? So the next time you're sitting there like you lost your job, or your hours got cut back, or your spouse, you're working, but your spouse isn't anymore. You used to have 2 incomes. Now you got 1, and you're struggling how to pay your bills. Just go to sleep going, oh, thank God, Raytheon's getting squared up. Here's some other crap that they put in this. Here's what else it does. It shields companies from all coronavirus-related actions retroactively for at least 1 year or until the pandemic is over, except in cases of gross negligence. Most coronavirus-related lawsuits would be forced into federal courts, which tend to believe the federal courts are more favorable to big business. So let's say you work for some big company, I don't know, Amazon, Walmart, and let's say you wanted to organize a strike because you weren't getting hazard pay, you weren't getting medical benefits, you weren't getting union pay, and you got fired, like Chris Smalls was fired by Amazon because he was trying to organize a strike so that he and his fellow workers at an Amazon warehouse in New Jersey didn't die from COVID-19. You, Chris Smalls, can't, under this new stimulus, you can't take Amazon to court. So it's protecting big business in the defense industry. Thank God. Hey, mom and pop business owner that you got shut down. Maybe you were a restaurant. You were kind of staying afloat because you could, like in California or New York, kind of stay afloat because you could do outdoor service. That just got shut down by people like Cuomo and Newsom. You lost. You didn't get approved. You didn't get approved for your small business loan, but Tom Brady did. He got $960,000 and he bought a yacht. By the way, he signed a $50 million 2-year contract with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers earlier this spring. Don't worry about that, because you can't sue anybody if you're a regular person. Restrict enforcement of long-standing laws such as Fair Labor Standards Act of 1938. So that is FDR, New Deal, labor regulation that has been around for, what is that, 80 years, 80 plus years? We're gonna reduce that. The Occupational Safety and Health Act of 1970 and the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Why do we need to restrict the enforcement of the Civil Rights Act in order to help Americans through a pandemic that has crushed the economy because we've had to shut everything down? When companies say they're attempting to comply with government's coronavirus guidance. So now, thanks to this bill that I'm sure Pelosi and Mitch McConnell are high-fiving over, you got fired because of your ethnicity or color of your skin, and they use coronavirus as an excuse, and you have a legitimate claim against a big corporation. Sorry, the Civil Rights Act, out the window. They violated labor laws that have been on the books since 1938. Not anymore. That's what's in here. Empower the United States Attorney General to deem coronavirus-related lawsuits from workers, customers, and attorneys meritless. So on top of the CARES Act that was signed in whatever that was, April, you know, the one that everybody, AOC and Bernie and all them signed, and in addition to all those awful Republicans, that gave $4.25 trillion to Wall Street and the banks, the single greatest transference of wealth. And you got a $1,200 check, and maybe you got some unemployment that's helped you afloat, but you're a small business, you got a PPP loan or whatever, a loan. Big corporations, those loans are forgivable. Small businesses, you have to pay them back. So on top of all of that great stimulus from this country that hates you, the Democrats hate you, the Republicans hate you, the corporate people hate you, Elon Musk hates you, Jeff Bezos hates you, the Walmart family hates you, they all hate you. Now, the Attorney General is saying you don't even, the last leg you had as an individual, as an employee, as a small business owner, is I've been completely mistreated, attacked, and taken advantage of by big businesses, and they've used coronavirus as an excuse. You now have no more leverage. They took away all the money. And I've been talking about this since it went down. All of us indie media people have been talking about this since the CARES Act went down in the spring. This is going to be used to snatch up small businesses. When these evictions come, they're going to snatch up your homes. When the commercial real estate bubble crashes, they're going to snatch up your business. You got a PPP loan? All right, you're trying to keep it. Oh, you can't pay it? They're going to buy up your business from you. Meritless, and then file civil actions against them as retribution. So now, if the United States Attorney General deems a coronavirus-related lawsuits from workers, customers, and attorneys meritless, so the Attorney General can just say, oh, your claim, meritless. And now that they've deemed your claim meritless, they can file civil actions against them as retribution. In order to vindicate the public interest, courts should be allowed to fine respondents up to $50,000. So you really want to file that lawsuit? Now that's what that's saying. You file that lawsuit, judge will say it's meritless, and we're going to tag you with 50 grand. That's how we're getting help. Help. But what's the big help coming? While the bill would fund $300 a week in new federal unemployment benefits, that's half as much as we got during the CARES Act. I remember I finally got my unemployment in June, and a bunch of friends of mine got it. And it was like, ooh, that extra $600 a week was really like, people were like, thank God. And then it was gone. And then they brought back $300. Now that's gone. Now I get nothing. The food banks have had record demand. There's an interview with the food bank guy who said, we've seen holiday level demand, usually every year before the pandemic, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, there'd be a big demand. The rest of the year, not so much. He said, we've seen that level of demand since March. So you get half. You get half. You just lost your right as a worker, you lost litigation against the company that fired you or whatever. You can't even go to court. Isn't that a part of what a democracy is? You have the right to go to court. The jury of your peers, all that. Nah, they just threaten you. They give all the power to the big businesses. And millions of people will see their unemployment benefits lapse on December 26th, and it will likely take weeks to reprogram state unemployment systems. So you're going to lose your unemployment in about 10 days. 10 days. This is recorded December 15th. You're going to lose it in about 10 days. Post this 10, 11 days, day after Christmas. And so even if this is still a negotiation, by the way, even if this is passed, it's still going to take weeks for you to get it in January. Everybody's rent is due January 1st. There are 19 million evictions that are going to happen January 1st. There's 28 to 30 million total evictions and foreclosures that are looming around America. But over half of them are going to happen January 1st. This is about need and not greed, said West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin, one of the Democratic sponsors of the bill, who has called new direct payments to families a bad idea. More great corporate Democrats. Joe Manchin he's a Republican. I don't know why. It's unbelievable. This is the Democratic Party fighting for you. So direct payments is a bad idea. People are starving. They're trying not to get evicted. Everyone should be getting a $1,200 check before the end of the year, right now, today. Put them in the mail right now. Done. Make it happen right now. Nope. Sorry. But you can't file a lawsuit against a big corporation that screwed you out of your job. These corporations, I've done videos on them who have taken stimulus money and still laid people off. Oh, I thought the stimulus money was to keep your employees, keep the money in the economy. No, the executives kept it. Shitheads that they are. Nearly 12 million U.S. renters will be behind $5,850 in rent by January, according to the Washington Post. They're taking an average rent and what 6-7 months behind is. And if you live in an expensive city like LA, New York, San Francisco, Chicago, whatever, it's going to be more. Bernie Sanders of Vermont and Republican Missouri Senator Josh Hawley have been pushing lawmakers to include language in the stimulus, giving 1,200 stimulus checks to millions of families. You need that right now, just that 1,200 right now, just to keep the lights on, to keep your family in your home, to not get evicted. There's $1,200. Just to something? Nope. Joe Manchin, Democrat, bad idea. So an independent who, had he not kept calling Joe Biden his good friend, could be president right now. He got screwed over by the Democratic Party, absolutely, and he buckled to him. Come on, Bernie. I appreciate that he's fighting for this 1,200. He's the only one doing it. The Democrats aren't. This is the best we get in progressive leadership. Giving $1,200 stimulus checks to millions of families. That was not included in the same stimulus that includes the subsidy program for defense contractors. So you don't get a $1,200 check. Probably not. Bernie's fighting for it, and him and a Republican are fighting for it. Maybe you'll get it. But what's definitely going to happen is defense contractors are going to get a subsidy. So I want to bring in Ron Placone here. Ron, there it is. Whoops.
Hey, Graham.
Hey, Ron.
What's up, buddy?
So, are you excited about this?
Absolutely.
Taking care of? God, don't you feel taken care of?
Totally. Well, they address some really good things in here. I mean, when I walk around and I see, big corporations, I'm just like, well, they surely can't be held accountable if anything bad happens. Are they protected? Are they protected? I mean, Mitt Romney told me they're people, so I care about people. Are they okay? So that's a concern of mine that, of course, this addresses. And then, I get it. Labor standards, I guess we've had them and stuff, but times are tough right now. And if somebody has to work a 14-hour shift at a grocery store during a pandemic, I see no problems there. I think that's a great thing for them and everybody else. What could possibly go wrong? No, this is unbelievable. I mean, this is straight up authoritarianism. And that's not even an embellishment. That is totally what it is. And, I've heard some grumblings that Bernie Sanders and some other people are threatening a government shutdown over this. And I'm at the point now where it's well, if this is what the government wants to do, shut it down. If we're not going to get any relief anyway, shut it down. And I don't know why.
Relief.
Huh?
This isn't relief. This is relief for defense contractors.
Exactly. So it's if this is what they're going to do, which this is what they've been doing, shut it down. I mean, just shut it down. Because, they could have threatened a government shutdown to prevent Trump's Supreme Court pick. They didn't. And everyone was oh, well, you can't shut the government down during a pandemic. Well, you can if the government's not doing anything for people during a pandemic, which is what they've done this entire freaking time, other than a one-time fuck you payment. And some federal unemployment, which for the people that could get it, yeah, that helped. But it's gone now. And I have a feeling it's not coming back. And I mean, this is just a straight up, this is worse than a slap in the face. This is light years up from a slap in the face. And this is just a rude awakening. You know what, man? I feel like in 2016, all of my worst suspicions of the Democratic Party were confirmed correct. All the worst suspicions I ever had of that party, my entire adult life, were confirmed to be true. In 2020, all of the worst suspicions I've ever had of the American government were confirmed true.
Yeah.
And by the past, the Democratic Party was worse than I ever thought it could be. It was worse than my worst suspicions. Same with the American government. It's worse than even I realized. And that's just the reality we're dealing with right now. It's not just a government that neglects you. It's a government that hates you. It's a government that would lose zero sleep if you died tomorrow. They are just in the pockets of Wall Street and in the pockets of the war machine. We have an economy built on war that is crumbling as it should. And, this is not a relief bill at all. This is just a scam. You are being scammed every day. Every day that you wake up, your government is actively stealing from you. And it's an insult to the rest of the world. And it's an insult to you. And it is insane to think, but it's a reality. The entire world, and even most Americans, maybe not all, but most Americans would be better off if tomorrow the United States just decided to stop being a country. And I tweeted that out. The whole world will be better off if the United States stopped being a country and then decided to start being a country.
Yeah. Because this is like you make a great point. If we're not going to get $1,200, if we're not going to get our unemployment benefits back, and the only way to even get part of it or half of it is if we give up our right to litigate against a company that abuses its power, and we give more money to the defense industry, then fuck you. Then no, shut it down. What are we shutting down? This awful institution that won't give us a goddamn thing? Like, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, if they're going to work against you,
shut it down. They're actively working against us. This new stimulus proposal is actively working against American people.
And they do the opposite. You want to talk about labor practices, it should be going in the other direction. Nobody, unless you're like a doctor or a nurse, I get it. We need every doctor and nurse right now. I totally get that. But, other essential workers who, of course, we need people keeping the grocery stores open and the pharmacies open. But nobody. First of all, everyone should be getting at least time and a half for every minute they work. At least time and a half. But also, nobody should be working more than 4 hours at a time. Nobody. Not one person. You should not be working more than 4 hours at a time. For your safety, for the safety of everyone else. And you should be getting compensated full time anyway. That's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. No one in a grocery store should be working for more than 4 hours at a time right now. It's too dangerous for them and everybody else. Do you want somebody who's handling a food supply to be overworked? Are you insane? Like there's a pandemic happening.
I know.
So it should be going in the other direction. It's so insane. And we can afford all this. So how are we going to pay for it? We can afford all this many times over. What we're asking for right now we're asking for crumbs. So those are crumbs, the stuff I just laid out, that no essential worker should be working for more than 4 hours. That's the bare minimum that have been implemented on day one. That should have been the case since March. And they're going in the other direction. This is nuts.
I know. 6 months ago, we were talking about how the importance of the essential worker and boy, they need, and was like, okay, then no. Big business, which controls both of these filthy, maggot-ridden, soulless parties, these horrible parties with awful people inside of them, they're just, I can't even put it into words. It's so unbelievable to me. It's dangerous. The numbers are going through the roof. We live in California, New York, these states, the numbers are through the roof. The hospitals are overrun. Like, the American essential workers should have been taken care of from day one when this happened. And it's more money for more protection for big. We're literally rolling back the Civil Rights Act. Like, so we're going so. Well, I thought, Biden's going to win. He's going to make everything better. Really? the Democrats lost seats in the Congress against Trump. It's like, I don't know how when are people going to wake up to the fact that these two parties hate you? They don't care about you. And Joe Biden getting sworn in, nothing's going to change. We need to shut the government down. We need a general strike. Look, they've been sticking it to the people of India for years, and they finally went, nope. 250 million people went on strike.
One of the biggest strikes in human history.
The biggest.
And there's was it like for sure determined the biggest?
The single greatest strike in human history, in recorded human history. 250 million people. That's about 20 to 25% of the population of India. So imagine if somewhere in the 60 to 70,000 range, 60 to 70 million people rather, 60 to 70 million Americans said nope and shut everything down. Things would change.
Yeah, they'd have to. And that's the only way it's going to. I mean, it's just people who are justifying what the ruling class is doing and even pretending like there's any type of struggle. You're just polishing a turd at this point. Yeah. You are just polishing a piece of shit. And, it's on us, and direct action is pretty much the only way. And putting these politicians in a corner, like we've been talking about on other segments today, it's the only way. And it's just, this is just empire behavior. That's what it is.
Yes.
We're an empire, and we're not the good guys. And it's time to strip away any facade, because this is what our society is. And it's absolutely disgusting. But the one glimmer of hope is that the American people, we the people, we're better than this. We are better than this. And it's time to, I know it's a cliche, but if there's any that it's applicable, it's here. It's time to take our country back.
Yeah, it's true. The American people, this is our moment. We all read the Revolution War stuff and the Constitution. Well, this is 10 times worse than that.
Yeah.
This is 10 times worse than what the King George and the English Empire were doing. So if you this is, and they don't care if you're dying. They don't care. They don't want to give you health care. Nowhere in the stimulus, but the stimulus bill should have labor protections. It should have Medicare for all. That should have just happened like in April, like gone, everybody gets it. And it's making the situation worse. We have the worst recorded deaths. And you can't just put it all, Trump was a jackass, didn't handle it correctly, didn't want to wear a mask. That's part of it. But both parties deliberately making sure you don't get Medicare for all is an even bigger part of this.
Oh, yeah.
Knowing full well all of the 15 million people who have lost their health insurance because they got it through their employer and now they don't have it because they've been laid off. What about that? Like this is unbelievable. Frontline medical workers are completely overwhelmed.
Yeah.
It's like we have failed on 10,000 levels. We look like a banana republic.
We are a banana republic.
Yeah, we are.
Absolutely. We are. And it's just, we are. I actually think, and I've said this before, and I actually retract it now, because I would say things like we're the laughing stock of the world. We're actually not. They're not laughing anymore. They're horrified.
They're horrified.
People in other countries are like, what the fuck? Like, you're one of the biggest, like you're a superpower. You're one of like the leaders in the free world, or at least so we're told. What the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? What is your government? And it's like, yeah, it's worse than we even realize. It's a complete, it is just a front. It is just a mask for Wall Street is all our government is. It is no better than that. It is not worth saving. It cannot be reformed. We would be better off just having a loosely organized people's legislature. Yeah. There'd be a ton of problems with that, a ton, but it wouldn't be shittier than what we have now, because it would at least cut out the middleman.
I would take those problems. I would take the problems of starting a new people's legislature. I would take that headache over this. People in the streets, food lines miles long, no money, no nothing, but we got money for war. Fuck that. I'll take we got to iron out this system. I'll take it because this system blows, man. I know people who still who never got unemployment insurance, never got it.
Yeah. Well, and here's the other side of it, though. Here's the other side of it that I think is also important to say here. The only reason we are not completely just leveled and decimated is because of people doing the best they can for each other. That's the only and I'm not saying it's not bleak. It is, because we have been greatly pummeled. But the only reason we're still hanging on has nothing to do with the bullshit resemblance of crumbs our government has thrown at us. It has everything to do with what we, the people, have done for each other. And that's the only thing that's keeping us going. So we do have the power. We do have the ability. We can do better. But you know what? It's on us. It's not on these clowns in Washington. Because they've proven how useless they are. They are useless, completely useless. Every single one of them, I don't care who it is, every single one of them deserves to be unemployed. Every single one. I don't care who it is.
Yeah.
And, so we the people, we do have the power, and we are a resilient populace. But we're not even the laughingstock of the world anymore. They're just looking on in horror at this point. So, let's give them some optimism. Let's give ourselves some optimism too.
Yeah, you're right. Because the only like real things that have given me hope through this is just watching fellow Americans take care of each other. That's the thing where I'm like, wow, people are really helping each other out. We have to. They're trying, the ruling class is trying to keep us divided and fighting with each other. But you see these lines at the food banks. It's everybody, all ethnicities, all socioeconomics. I mean, all different, whatever political, everyone, like, we got to help each other out. And they really want us fighting with each other. They need us fighting with each other because they don't want us rising up against them, because and that's the only, and that's where I have hope that the American, like, resilient, like, let's figure this out. Let's work together and solve this problem needs to happen, because these two parties, this political system, they hate us. Oh, wait, Trump's gone. Okay, great. Now Biden's, no, there's no difference. There's no difference, man. So it's like, it's time for people to really get together and have a general strike. And I hope it happens. And it won't be easier, but it's better than what we got now, which is just, these two parties are going to give us the privilege of digging through their garbage cans after a party. Wow. Thank you so much. Like, thank you. Oh my God. Thank you. So Ron, great having you on the show. Where can people find, listen, and watch everything you're doing?
You can find me over on youtube.com/Ron Placone and over on my website, ronplacone.com. I'm on Twitter at Ron Placone and Instagram at Ron Placone. And if you are so able, patreon.com/Ron Placone for give what can level. You get all kinds of cool stuff. And someday I'll be on the road again, and you'll be able to find tour dates. Someday. I don't know when, but someday that's going to happen, and we're going to be able to perform live in front of people again. And I can't wait for that day. I don't know when it's going to be, but someday it's going to happen. And I look forward to that.
I hope it's the summer. I don't know. Vaccine, maybe. We don't know. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway.
1 hour at a time, man. But God willing, 2021, fingers crossed. But we'll see you when it's safe to see you. And in the meantime, I just hope everyone holds on tight and take care of each other and be well. That's all we can do.
Right on. Thank you so much, Ron Placone, for being on the show. Folks, support what we do. Work together. You're all political vigilantes. You're all making Gotham great again, and shave your knuckles for justice. Boom. All right, buddy. Answer a couple more super chats if there are any, and then we'll head on out. Kate, shave your knuckles for justice. Kate is our moderator. Show her some love. Mike Gravel was talking about how the people can propose legislation in Congress. I need to finish his book. Read that book. It's a short.
Yeah, read that book.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
It was sent to me by Emberg33. It's a great book. Read it. It's so clear. Let's see. We have 782 people likes. Right on. Let's get to the super chats that we missed. Big Baby Zubas, shave your knuckles for justice. Watching Chelsea Manning play video games is nice, cool. Donnie Known, New York City Drivers Cooperative Uber Lyft. Oh, thank you for sending me that web link. I'm gonna copy that right now. Put that in my browser. Boom. KH, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. We will get some garbage or nothing at all, and the media will call it a Christmas miracle. Too many. Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. All these mechanisms of asset seizure you are describing sound just like IMF shakedown tactics in the third world. Tools of imperialism brought home. Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is exactly what they do in the third world. It's how we're being treated. This is what they do. Rebecca Mullins, what's up? You're shaving your knuckles for justice. Graham and Ron, how about a sort of movement pushing sheriffs to defy eviction orders as civil servants? They should be protecting us from predators. That is a great point. And look, I think there's a chance here. At least the LA County Sheriff, which, by the way, they've done a lot of awful stuff. They've shot unarmed people. They've had like a mob hit squad inside of there. They said they're not going to enforce the shutdown restaurant order. The LA County Sheriff said that. And whether you agree with that or don't agree with that, my point is it supports what you're saying. Look, a week or so ago in Portland, the police tried to evict somebody and the whole neighborhood said no. And now they've shut that neighborhood off and made it an autonomous zone. And you can't even get close to the house unless you're in the neighborhood. So I said this 6-7 months ago when these evictions start rolling out. People are going to be fighting cops, and eventually cops are going to go, I don't want to deal with this crap. I came here to stop crime and someone not stuck in their home because they can't pay their rent because the government's shut down their job. I'm not kicking it. And I think you're going to start to see some police departments go, nah, we ain't serving evictions, because even just from why I don't want to put my cops in harm's way because they're going to get shit thrown at them and blocked, and it's going to get ugly. So I think it's a great movement.
I hope you're right. I don't know if I'm that optimistic, because I actually think most people become cops so they can crack heads, and this is just another moment to crack heads.
Yeah, I totally agree with that as well.
And I think the cops that go in it for the right reasons, they get weeded out pretty quick because it's a systemic disease.
I think you're right. I think what's going to happen is these aren't going to be peaceful protests where people, there's maybe a few bad actors or whatever they try to claim. There's going to be a whole neighborhood going, fuck no. And that's when this happened in the 30s. They tried to evict some people and the whole town would show up with shotguns and stuff and say no. Only now people are there.
It did happen in Portland. I mean, I saw that. And so, again, it just goes back to, people looking out for their neighbors is the only thing keeping us afloat. It is literally all we have, folks.
Yeah.
Each other is all we have. That's all we have.
Yep. That's all we got. Annabelle Corley, what's up, Annabelle? To anyone who still thinks COVID is not real, my uncle died of COVID in the UK. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Annabelle.
Sympathies.
His family... his family could be with him in his last days, but most die alone. I'm really sorry to hear that.
That's so rough. Yeah, I mean, and condolences. Totally. It's God, you hear all these horror. I mean, people just having to have their last few moments with their parents on Zoom, and it's heartbreaking. I mean, it's heartbreaking.
My last moment with my dad was on a FaceTime video call.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, it sucks.
And he didn't die from COVID, but apparently he had it and recovered. But I doubt it didn't at least contribute.
Right.
I mean, my dad was 85 too, but I have several friends of mine who couldn't go back home, whose parents died, dad died, and they couldn't go back and see it.
Yeah. I mean, an uncle of mine died, and he, most of his daughter who lived in Arizona. She wasn't able to be there. They had like a Zoom funeral. This has been a time, man. This has been a time.
Yeah. So sorry to hear that, Annabelle, but I'm glad that a lot of his family got to be around him. Matt S. Shaving Knuckles for Justice. Been a minute. I had a million questions, forgot them, so just saying hi. Right on, Matt. Thank you for supporting the show, man. Really appreciate it. Crystal Foe. Boom. Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. I think 2021 is a redistricting year. Yikes. DC Thomas, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. If subprime defaulters could bring down system in 2008, what will happen in January when millions default? The scorpion is going to sting the frog. Oh no, it's the bubbles that are out there. It's not just, home loans. It's the commercial real estate bubble. Like all these people are going to default. It's going to be really bad. Every economic expert I watch and listen and read, they're all saying it. It's really scary, man. It's really scary. Another reason we all need to work together. Another reason to grow your own food and get cryptocurrency. Alan Flynn, boom. Do you think there's a chance Trump will pardon Assange?
I highly doubt it. I mean, I guess you never want to say never, but I mean, I highly doubt it. And that pastor is an asshole.
Well, first of all, welcome to the Political Vigilante. My name is Graham Elwood. I'm joined by Ron Placone here. The question's been asked, will Trump pardon Assange? There was that pastor that put that thing out yesterday. A lot of people got excited and he was wrong. But somebody else put out an interview with Rudy Giuliani saying he might do it. So, look, I hope that he does. Trump is a wild card. He's going to do a bunch of crazy shit right before he leaves. I mean, the Electoral College just certified Biden as the winner yesterday. So Trump might, when he comes to the reality that he's not going to be president anymore, he might just go, fine, I'm going to pardon all these people and do all this stuff. Might be wishful thinking on my part, and he might just do it just to make the Democrats angry, which I would love it because I want to see Julian Assange pardoned. And that Giuliani is talking about it gives there's some weight because Giuliani is in that inner circle of hair melting weirdos that stand outside of
Well, so is his pastor. I mean, yeah, I don't care what his reasoning is as long as he does it. I could care less why he pardons Assange. As long as he pardons Assange, that's all I care about. Because I know some people are just like, well, why is it even considered a pardon? Because he didn't really do anything and the charges are bullshit. And it's like, yeah, I know. You're absolutely right. But let's just get the guy home, okay? Like, we don't have time to worry about optics right now. Just get him pardoned. Just get him home. And then in the future, what needs to happen is that people need to continue telling the story so that something like that is prevented from ever happening again. It will happen again. You're not going to prevent it completely, but that people do their best to prevent something like this from ever happening again. But in the meantime, let's just get the guy home. Let's get him pardoned. Let's get him home.
It's apparently in Belmarsh prison right now. It's cold. He's given one blanket. He's freezing. He's put books up on the window to prevent a draft. He's in hellish conditions.
Yeah, there's been COVID. He's a susceptible person. He has some underlying health issues. If he gets it, he'd be in a lot of trouble. It's evil what's happening. And I'll be honest, I don't have a lot of confidence Trump's going to pardon him. But you have to wonder, what went on behind the scenes here? Why did this pastor tweet this out? And, there's a couple different possibilities. One could just be the pastor just wanted some clout and wanted to just get some attention. And so he just, bullshitted people. That's possible. Another possibility is, well, he is Trump's pastor. Maybe he wants to see Assange free. I don't know anything about Trump's pastor. I didn't even know his name until I saw this tweet. So maybe he does want to see Assange free. And maybe he had Trump's ear and Trump was open to it. But then some of the other people who really kind of control Trump were kind of like, no, you're not going to do that. Maybe that's what happened. I don't know. And maybe, I mean, what's the thing they say? Like Trump just sort of listens to, the person who has his ear last. So yeah, I mean, I don't have a whole lot of hope that he'll do that, but man, I'd love it if he did.
Yeah, it could go either way because Trump could just, no, the deep state guys could roll in and be like, no, Trump, bad idea. And he'd be like, yeah, you're right. But if he just decides to do it, he could. And I hope he does. I mean, that would be, like I said, I don't care what his reasons are. I don't like Trump. He's a jackass. I'm glad he's gone. But if he pardons Assange, awesome. And you'll see all of these so-called, free thinking liberals be like outraged that just because Trump did it. They'll just be mad because Trump did it. No, Assange, and they'll bring up all the bullshit sexual assault charges that we know are completely false, and Sweden never even actually charged him. They were just accusations made. So, but it would be great. I mean, I would love it. I mean, I have no, it would be awesome if Assange, that's it. Just like you say, I don't care what, who, how, or why, the reasons. I don't care if it's a political football. I don't care. If Assange is home and can't be extradited and all the charges are dropped and he can live as a free man, great. That's what it should be. So I hope it happens. Well, Ron Placone, thank you for joining us. Where can people follow you online?
You can find me at ronplacone.com and youtube.com/ronplacone and Twitter at ronplacone, Instagram at ronplacone. And someday there's going to be some tour dates up there again. Someday.
Let's hope. Yeah, make sure you hit the subscribe button to Ron Show, to mine. YouTube's been unsubscribing us. So even if you've done it in the past, make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you're new to either one of our shows, please do that. And then support us. Liking, sharing videos, all those things help the show. Thank you for watching. Shaver Knuckles for Justice. Boo-boo. All right, Ron, I'm going to let you go, brother. I'm going to read through some super chats. I really appreciate your time, dude.
All right, everybody. Be well.
Thanks.
Good seeing you, Graham.
Yeah, buddy. Good seeing you too, man. We'll see you soon.
Later.
Ron Placone, everybody. Great question. Gina G, what's up? How you doing, Gina? Good to see you in the chat. See the news rumor about Pete for transportation? Oh, God. Of course. You know Pete's going to be in there. He's an intelligence operative. Buddies with Zuckerberg, used to be a naval intelligence officer, made the Shadow app. Of course, he'll be in there. Of course he's in there. It's so funny. Liz Warren ain't going to be in there. Was it worth it, Liz? Was it worth it? Oh. Renzo, do you think reality winner should be freed? I don't understand. I don't quite understand who reality winner is. I'm sorry if I misunderstand that. Where's Klobuchar going to end up? That'd be funny. Klobe. Where's Klobe going to end up? Let me make sure I didn't miss anybody. All right, I'm going to wrap it up, folks. I'm talking. J.H. Scott, Shaver Knuckles for Justice. Thank you. We got all of them. All right, 841 likes. Awesome live stream, everybody. All right, folks. Reality winner is the black female version of Chelsea Manning. Oh, wow. I don't know much. I don't know enough. I'm sorry. I don't know enough about that case to have an opinion on it. So I apologize for not knowing more. I don't want to say, oh, yeah, she should. I don't know. If it's a whistleblowing journalist, somebody who a whistleblower, then overall, I think whistleblowers should be freed and protected. Matt S. Shaving Knuckles for Justice. Have you ever had a toxic, competitive, creative relationship with a fellow comic? If so, how did you handle it? I know there's some comics I know that are super competitive or whatever. I have some comics that maybe we were really good friends, but then they would sort of undercut me or, be jealous. And if I had some success, they'd say shitty things or whatever. I've had some comics do that, yeah. A toxic relationship is a toxic relationship, and you just got to get out of them. Eventually, you just got to say, I don't need this. It's one thing. I've got some good friends and we disagree, but it's not toxic. We just disagree. We talk politics or whatever, and that's okay. Toxic people that are trying to undercut you or negative or take you down or whatever, talk shit about you behind your back, that's no good. They're always in chaos and drama. Look, Deepak Chopra says it. Do not allow the creation of negativity into your life. When you have negative thoughts, try to pass them. Don't dwell on stuff negatively. Think of stuff. It's okay to be frustrated. This never be angry. That's too much. That's a crazy it's like not be human. It's okay to be angry, frustrated at something, but pass the negative. Get that. I try to find the gratitude. Something bad happens. Go, man, that sucks. And it's okay to say that, but then go, well, at least these and these good things happen. It could have been a lot worse. Like my car getting smashed. Headache, pain in the ass. I was hurt. I wasn't hurt. The other driver wasn't hurt. Everybody walked away. They're going to give me some money. I have a right to feel kind of frustrated and to be kind of sick of it. It took 3 weeks. It's all done now. But that's how you do things. And in toxic relationships, if you're with somebody, it's okay to disagree. Like a dating relationship, if you're, it's okay to disagree. But if the person's always, the last serious relationship I was in was about 6 months long, and it was starting to be oh, this could be something. And then the person was always creating drama, and there was always a chaos problem, and then fucking flipping out on stuff. And I was just like, Jesus. Then they we broke up, and then I kind of felt bad. I was like, let's, I broke it off. And let's get back to, let's try to make this work. And then they kind of talked the game of oh, I'll work on myself. And they did, because I was the only one really working on myself. And then I confided some personal stuff on them that they threw in my face. And then they went on this big project, this big travel work thing, and they got a lot of notoriety from it, which was really cool. And they came back with all this attitude. And then I confided something personal in them, and then they threw it at me in an argument. I was like, I don't need this shit at all. This is nuts. And then we broke up, and then calling me from a number I didn't recognize, so I would answer the phone. And it was just toxic, crazy, negative. When you think about the person, do you oh, this is, or you're fuck, they did this and this, or you hang out with them and you're joking around, and then there's some little mean jab that's not just ball busting fun, but it's mean. There's something behind it. Get out of the toxic relationships. You don't need them. Get out of them. And why do you want to be competitive with a friend? All my good comic friends, I love watching their act. I think they're funny. I love hanging out with them. I'm happy when they have success. I try to help them out. We try to help each other out. I like going on Ron. I love going on the road with Ron. I've known Jimmy for years. I like that. Pushing each other. Hey, you should, to do better. That's a good thing. But competitive, jealous, and all that crap, you don't need it. Sam Dean, boom. Government, people for assimilation, me. ASS, immolation. Oh no, Eye of the Tiger, mate. All right, Eye of the Tiger is Granny Petrol. You got that right. DC Thomas, what's up? Biden was tasked to get immunity for troops in Iraq. WikiLeaks prevented deal with collateral murder releasing during negotiations. Revenge for lost bases. Yeah. I know. All right, Eye of the Tiger by Granny Petrol. Here it comes. I'll be right back. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Hello, Granny Petrol with the Friends of Science. Wanted to sing a wonderful song that's exciting and inspirational. So fun. All right. This song. Everybody out there working for a little mom and pop oil company, fields muscled and round by big kale, and the tyrants at the organic fruit mafia, smashing our dreams of pipelines for our children to play in. I just want you to never give up and have the eye of the tiger. I'm Granny Petrol. But Greta, why are you angry at adults? We've done nothing but bring you wonderful things like oil and coal, electronics, jet aeroplanes. Why do you want to outlaw them with your crazy friend AOC, making cows illegal? Do you hate animals, Greta? I thought you loved them. Rising up, back on the street, took my time, took my chances. Went the distance, now I'm back on my feet, with just a man and his will to survive. So many times, it happens too fast. You change your passion for glory. Don't lose your grip on the dreams of the past, like pipelines for everybody. You might just keep them alive. It's the eye of the tiger, it's the dream of the fight, rising up to the challenge of our rivals, big kale. And the last known survivor stalls his prey in the night, and he's watching us now with the eye of the tiger. Growl, scratch. Face to face, out in the heat. Hanging tough, stay in front of it. They stack the odds till we take to the street for the kill with the skill to survive. It's the eye of the tiger. It's the dream of the fight, rising up to the challenge of our rivals, like an oil well spurting oil and joy across the land. Stalks their prey in the night, and he's watching us now with the eye of the tiger, Greta. Stalking its prey like an oil derrick, stalking the prey, straight to the top like oil. Had the guts, got the glory. Went the distance, now I'm not going to stop, Greta. Just a man and his will to survive. It's the eye of the tiger, Greta. It's the dream of a fight, like a pipeline spilling and children playing in it like a slip and slide. Like a coal mine duel between children of the night. And he's watching us now with the eye of the tiger. Oh, Greta, why are you angry at adults? You hear me, the arugulati? I'm coming for you. I've got the eye of the tiger. Ram. Eye of the tiger. These glasses are made from oil. They're oil glasses. Make my vision better. I'm 148. That's why I've got the eye of the tiger. Not running around in a hippie boat banning schools. Coming for you, Big Kale. What's up? We have to see some YouTube ads. Oh no, where's my cursor? What's going on there? It's the oh, you guys are so great. So if you just tuned in, these will be archived on Patreon at the $10 level. And at Rockfin, go to patreon.com/Graham Elwood or rockfin.com/Graham Elwood, where the live streams, if you just got here, you can go back and watch the whole thing. And you get the whole back catalog of archived live streams. You get, if you do Rockfin, you get the karaoke videos. Rockfin and Patreon both have the audio versions of the, if you like listening to this as a podcast. Tomorrow is Wednesday. Who do I have on the show tomorrow? The challenge of our life. Blah, blah. Blee, blue, blue, blee, blue. Grata, grata. Kinky 2, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Thank you for supporting the show. Thank you, everybody over on the Rockfin. The Arugulati, thank you. Love all my Rockfinigans. Thank you for supporting what I do and the people who drop some tips. Stick Whistle, Denny. Thanks for supporting the show. Yeah, we'll be live again tomorrow. Probably tomorrow night after Jimmy, probably around 7-ish Pacific time. Thursday, I will be going live with Thursday, I will go Lee Camp at 3 o'clock interview, or we'll do Government Secrets at 3 o'clock, and then Fidel Kaboub on Thursday. So tune in for those, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Graham Elwood. Follow me at Graham Elwood. I'll be updating my GrahamElwood.com website. There's currently a PayPal button, another great way to support the show. But I'm going to be updating my website on getting some Shave Your Knuckles for Justice and stuff like that merchandise after the new year. I didn't want to bye Christmas. I didn't want to do that to you. So I'm going to, and I'll have new rounds of the Vigilante after New Year's. So check that out. Thank you to everybody watching here on YouTube, everybody on Facebook, and everybody watching on the Rockfin. Thank you for supporting what I do. I could not do this show without you. Thank you to Kate, our moderator. Thank you to Rob Placone. Thank you to Sammy, my producer. God bless you. Keep Make Gotham great again. You're all political vigilantes. Follow the money, connect the dots, and shave your knuckles for justice. Boom.